So there's this question from a user called Lemillion, and you say, are there different levels of enlightenment? Because I feel on some days I'm deeper than on other days, and it's fluctuating. Now, of course, I don't have the absolute truth. I can only share my insights, and I can share with you what I think about this. Now, as far as I know, this what is normally known as enlightenment is when you recognize that you are awareness. Who you are in your deepest core is something that is never changing. Now, if there's something that is fluctuating, you're happy, the next day you're unhappy, then you're sad, and then you feel like life's awesome. There's an awareness that is always aware of the things that are fluctuating. And this awareness is already free. It's like there's a certain freedom that is looking at the imprisonment. Right? And as far as I know, most teachers would say that this is enlightenment. But there are other teachers who would say, no, that's not it. That's not it yet. Now, when you are aware that you are awareness, what happens then is that, at least that's happening for me and other people also, you are aware of the karma. You see the triggers in the system. This nervous system, this body is reacting in some kind of way to an external event that will cause pain, emotional pain, for example. And it can happen anywhere, in relationships, and just circumstances, in life. And when you are experiencing from the point of awareness, knowing that the actual problem is not out there, but it's in here, you can be aware of this individual karma. And by not reacting to it, by understanding that you don't have to fight it, you don't have to solve a problem, you're observing it, it can die out. And some people would say that once you have overcome all of your emotional triggers and you really feel free, and there's a sense of letting go, and you don't want to keep things in bondage because it gives you a sense of security. When you feel like you can just die and you love life for what it is and you don't want anything from life, and there's this absolute sense of freedom and you really don't want anything from life, some people would say that's actual enlightenment. Right? So, but it's something that is happening anyway. You cannot escape from this process. At some point you will realize that you're consciousness. And when you realize that you're consciousness, you will also slowly learn that there are no problems out there. Actually, it's a slow process. For other people, it just happens suddenly. For example, it happened with Eckhart Tolle. It's like, boom, and he's awake. It's just, right? For other people, it can seemingly happen slowly. There's just this conditioning of this body mind. And it's reacting to some things with an emotion that feels painful. And whereas if there's happiness, there's also pain. If there's light, there's shadow. So if you have something in your life that you're clinging to because it gives you so much happiness, it will eventually give you pain. Right? So, because you cannot control it, it will die, right? So that's something that the ego is afraid of, and it's something that you have to transcend. The ego would like to control it. Consciousness understands that it doesn't need anything. It doesn't need to solve the problem. It doesn't need to fight the pain. It is just observing. And by observing and by not doing anything about it, it can slowly transform the way your body mind works. right? It can slowly, by not trying to cling to anything, by not trying to control or change or by just letting go and letting be, even if it's painful, you can kind of teach your body mind to become more and more like the awareness that is already free, or awareness is already free. And the more you can let go and allow life to be as it is, the more you can allow real love to arise in your experience. And it's a love that does not depend on feelings and circumstances. It's like, it's just the way it is. Now, this can take some time. Buddhists would say it takes lifetimes. Others would say it's done as soon as you find out that you're awareness, because there's nobody here that is suffering in the first place. But that's probably the reason why you feel like it's fluctuating, because when you feel like you are letting go and you don't want to control anything, then you feel like you're free. But then it's fluctuating, then you feel negative feelings. It doesn't change anything about the fact that you are awareness, which is already free. But it's something you have to go through. You cannot escape this. This is why J. Krishnamurti said that when there is pain, when there is suffering, hold it like a jewel. There's a video of him talking about suffering like it's something marvelous that you have to look at, hold it like a jewel. And because you cannot escape it, because you're not really separate from the pain. If you see yourself as something that is separate from the pain, and then you want to have control over it, you want to use a method to get rid of it, then you are just resisting the karma that you have to go through eventually, right? And it's liberating. Like, once you stop the fight and you're just like, life take me, even if it's painful, I don't want to fight it, then it's gonna be liberating. All right, so just go through it. The pain is not an emotional pain is not an indicator that you're doing something wrong. Right? You are exactly where you're supposed to be at. Because it's just, life's a roller coaster. And instead of trying to control where it's supposed to go, you can recognize that controlling creates pain and suffering. It doesn't create pain, it creates suffering. But if there's pain and you're still able to, like, all right, there's pain, I don't resist it, I'm still awareness, then there is like this, you are one. You don't see a separation between you and the pain anymore. You see that it is you. Therefore, you can allow it to be fully without trying to expect anything from the pain. Then there's a sense of liberation that transcends the world. A sense of liberation doesn't mean that things have to change on the outside. Things have to change on the inside. There's like this deeper sense that a deeper intelligence is carrying you. And there's just this, you allow it. Ultimately, it's just about letting go, really. So you can feel, liberated. And become like consciousness. But consciousness is already free. You see, if you have pain right now, if there's emotional pain right now, you are aware of this pain. Now there is pain, and there is the one that's aware of this pain. The one that's aware of this pain is not in pain. It is aware of pain. And then you can close the gap and really experience it, knowing that it's not really devastating. It's just an experience. You allow the pain, and then by doing this, you transcend it. If you are seeing that, okay, I'm awareness, I'm separate from my thoughts, I'm separate from my feelings. Now I really want to make sure that I stay separate. So it's like there's a painful emotional reaction in the body, and you're like, I'm consciousness, I'm not affected by it. It's just, it will stay there until you close the gap and you are fully allowing it to become one with awareness, and then it can finally be transcended. And it's not pleasant for the ego because it doesn't have anything under control. There's like this, because the ego likes safety. But you know what's also safe? Prisons. Prison is safe, but there's no freedom. So what you actually crave is freedom. But the more freedom you have, the less safety you have. Right? So that's intuitively, I can say that this is like the path that the spiritual people are on. They're trying to transcend limitations and this feeling of being imprisoned by life. You want to feel free, but the more you're trying to feel free, the more you have to accept that there are going to be things that will make you feel unsafe. Right? And if you are completely free of everything, and you're allowing everything to be just the way it is, some people would say that's absolute enlightenment, right? And there is like this regular enlightenment. It's recognizing that you are awareness, and you're not separate from whatever is perceived. All right? So that's all that came up. And yeah, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe, and have a great day.